It gets me, you know.
All right, it's time.
I'm actually to go.
This regular meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for October the 18th, 2006. 2006. Now let's do that. 2016. I missed a 1 in there. Will come to order. I'll ask you to stand there for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. The first item on our agenda is a non-public session which will be attended by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, our city attorney, and the city manager. And the purpose of this is to consider certain legal matters related to the demolition of the Bransford Community Center. When we're concluded with this, we will come back in, and any action that we need to take on this will be done in public. We'll let you all stay here. We'll do the moving. Going upstairs.
I don't know who they are. I wonder if they are.
I don't care. Here, I can get this one back for you. Or I can use it. It doesn't
All right, if you don't mind, you use that.
I'll use
and
this
I'll
one. That's fine.
mark on this
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we will reconvene now at 6:55, the executive session or non-public session having been concluded. The floor is now open for a motion with regard to the Bransford Community Center demolition. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
make a motion that we pursue the litigation against the Bomar Construction for the damages.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If you would favor this motion, vote aye when your name is called. If you're opposed, vote no.
Schneider.
Yeah.
Carneal.
No.
Sneed.
Aye.
Trotter.
No.
Head.
Yes.
Hubbard.
No.
Fails 2-4.
Are there any other motions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would make a motion that we proceed with the demolition change order.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make an amendment to change the scope of the change order, that aggregate materials that are not contaminated be left on site for future development.
Is there a second to your amendment?
Second.
Any discussion now on the amendment?
Question.
Mr. Trotter?
Is that going to require environmentalists to come in or something?
Will it?
Can call Mr. Brewer to the,
Mr. Brewer? Mr. Trotter, Alderman Trotter had a question that he directed to you, please, sir. Bobby, I'll let you ask it.
Okay. Yes. Mr. Brooke, decide to bury the bricks, I think that's what you're talking about, the bricks and all on site and not haul them away, and with the possibility of asbestos being on, is that going to require an environmentalist to come in or someone to make a decision?
Well, we had a asbestos survey run on the whole building. The bricks don't have any asbestos. They are, they have a plan to remove all the asbestos-containing material and put it in appropriate containers and take it to a hazardous waste landfill. The bricks themselves can be buried on site. Sometimes they are because they're going to try to harvest some of the dirt to cover. They're also going to take some time after they take them down so that the community can get all the bricks that they would like to get a hold of.
Answer my question. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there other questions now?
Yes, Mayor. Will this also reduce the dollar amount of the change order? Because that's going to be a significant lesser amount of work. Do I need, or will I need to reword it to seek?
You've already made a motion to, as far as this
Well, that's my
amendment is
question.
concerned, so I don't know why, I don't think you can alter that at this time.
So they're going to get the full amount of money and still leave some there?
I can't answer that.
All right. I would withdraw that motion, that amendment to the motion, if the seconder agrees.
I agree.
I might like to make an amendment to the main
Floor is
motion.
open.
Request a new price for the change order with Bomar, with the understanding the uncontaminated aggregate materials we left on site for future development.
Is there a second?
Second.
Now, is there further discussion? Alderman Hubbard?
Let me get some clarity in what you said. Just leave the bricks on site. You're not asking to reduce his charge?
Yes,
Yes.
but that's a
That's what
significant
he's
amount
saying.
of the work involved here. If you're gonna leave the brick on site, but to fill the hole, we got a basement over there, Mr. Hubbard. We're gonna have to haul stuff back to fill in the hole that's there. And the way they were hauling the gym out, it was in non-contaminated roll-offs going to Bordeaux landfill. It was not going to hazmat material landfill. It was going to Bordeaux.
Is there a representative of Bomar here? Would you come forward, please? Give us your name, please. Mike, could you give an answer to Alderman?
And we did the convention center, and we've done several C&D waste, which would be ceiling floors. That goes, we'll have a dumpster. You don't want that on site. That'll go, that's the blue dumpsters that you see, Earth First. Earth First will take that and they'll do a recycle, and we get a recycle content, and we'll submit that recycle content. Like drywall goes to Philadelphia, carpet you don't get any points for recycling that. But what he saw in Bordeaux Metals was the steel, and the steel goes to Bordeaux Metals for recycling. And it used to be where we made a little money on that, but now it's only like 3 cents a pound or 4 cents a pound. You don't want that left on site. They'll take rebar at no cost because we'll take a hammer and we'll hammer that up. They'll take. Now, we do have a rock crusher that we could come in and crush your concrete and the bricks that you all didn't want, and you can use that as fill. You can. Now, the cost of crushing it's about $3 a yard. Now, there is a savings because you do not have to haul it off. You're exactly 100% right. But, we could look at a change order deduct if you want a rock crusher in there, or you can use, it just depends on, it needs to be controlled field and field that you can build on. There could be a little deduction there.
Don't see it as significant, but there would likely be some.
In a perfect world, there might be, that's a 25,000 square foot building. There might be, if you let it, we would love to leave it on site, but then you run the risk of it needs to be either crushed or run over for controlled field. If we left it on site and we gave you a $10,000 credit, It's not worth it. Then when the next contractor, we built you all's library. Then you have to have a control field come in and it has to be placed. If we just place it and we don't put it in right, it's coming out, guys, because you can't build on something like that. So you'd have to have a geoscience person or somebody to look at it at that time. Now, if you crushed it and you made 4-inch and down, yeah, it's good fill. You could use it to put it in when you go to build your building.
So is that gonna cost any more? I
It
mean,
doesn't cost any more because you save the trucking.
Yeah.
The trucking of the material going out. We would bring it up, set it up, and it'll crush it down, and it'll look like 3 or 4 inch. And the Public Works, he'll know what I'm talking about.
they could build on that.
Yeah, you could place that and you could build on it fine.
If you don't do this, you're being short-sighted about what you want to do with the property later.
Yeah, you could fill basements in and walk it in. Corey, we did Highland Heights, didn't we? And we crushed there, and we built what they call a windrow for when they built on it. And you wind it over and you use the material, and you wouldn't want to place it until you had your design done, and then you place it. You know, if you have a basement, you probably want to just fill grade it and sew it so that the water drains there until your design comes in, because you don't really know where your design's going to end up at. So the answer to your question is, it's probably a wash, or maybe it might be a little savings. We could go back and calculate how many yards versus hauling off versus crushing. But I do think if it was my I probably would crush on site. Yeah, because there's enough brick and block there to support, and it makes a 3-inch and down like road bed that you can build on. It's just whether you want to do it or not.
All right, are there other questions of this gentleman while he's at the podium?
Call for question.
All right, reword it, please, Clay, so we'll,
Can you play it back? I don't want to have to go through that again. How did I say that? Do you
I have
it?
that you would like to amend to request the new price for a change order with Bomar with the understanding of the uncontaminated materials to be left on site.
That's it.
all right, if you favor this amendment, vote aye when your name is called, and if you're opposed, vote no.
Trotter,
Aye.
Hubbard,
I'm gonna say no.
Head,
Yes.
Schneider, Sneed,
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Pass 5-1.
All right, we're now back on the main motion, I believe.
That's correct.
All right, is everybody clear on the main motion?
This
As
is to get a purchase order with Bomar, the change.
As to, yes,
Change order.
a change order? Is that correct, Christie?
Put a monkey in the wrench.
The original motion is to, as amended, is to request a revision to the change order to reflect that the fill be kept on site, correct? Yes. Okay, we're good.
Change order puts into effect the demolition of the building, the entire building. Okay. Is everybody clear?
No. Are we accepting the change order at this point?
No. We are requesting that they modify the change order, which will reflect that the entire building is taken down, and that the non-contaminated materials, which would consist of brick and block, would be crushed on site and used as fill. But it would entail the demolition of the entire building.
Not specifically brick or block, aggregate, because that could be concrete floors too.
Question.
All right, Bobby.
Mr. Beaumont, is this going to take a considerable amount of time to readjust this, to redo this? I mean,
No, we can have it back
By next month?
Thursday.
oh,
We just have to calculate the quantity
Okay.
and the mobilization rate. The rock crushers.
Okay.
that's fair.
Is everybody clear
Thank you.
on what you're voting for? All right, we're ready for the question on the, anything further? Ready for the motion as amended.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
Carneal,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Schneider, Head,
Yes.
Passed 6-0.
All right, and I failed to get approval of the minutes for the last meeting. Have you had an opportunity to read those?
So moved to approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? If you're in favor of that, of the approval of those minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, say no. Motion carried. We move now to a public hearing. First one being on ordinance 16-14, which would amend our zoning ordinance regulating building exterior design, et cetera. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to that? Hearing none, we move to the second part of the public hearing, and this is referencing ordinance 16-18, which is a parking enforcement ordinance. Does anyone wish to speak to that? Hearing none, we move to the third item under under public hearing, and that's for ordinance 16-19, and this has to do with some changes in the alcohol beverage ordinance. Anyone wish to speak to that? Public hearings are there concluded. We move now to the legislative portion of the agenda. First one is the second reading on ordinance 16-14. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Head,
Yes.
Carneal,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Aye.
Sneed. Passed 6-0.
2.2 is referencing ordinance 16-17. This is a third and final reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Lisa.
Trotter,
Aye.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sneed. Carneal. Passed 6-0.
Now, ordinance 16-18 is a second reading. This is your item 2.3. Is there a motion there?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? This is the parking ordinance. Please call the roll.
Sneed.
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Schneider. Trotter.
Aye.
Passed 6-0.
All right, now 2.4 is referencing ordinance 16-19. This is covering an item or labeled alcoholic beverages. It's a second reading.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Sir.
Please call the roll.
Carneal.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Passed 6-0.
All right, 2.5 is a ordinance 16-20 on first reading. Therefore, it requires the reading by our acting city clerk tonight, who is our city recorder. We're glad to have you, Lisa.
Ordinance 16-20, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2017 annual budget for the city of Springfield by amending the general fund budget. Whereas it is necessary to amend the city of Springfield annual budget for fiscal year 2017 in order to meet the requirements of the city charter. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of Springfield, Tennessee, that the city of Springfield annual budget for fiscal year 2017 is hereby amended to make necessary changes to expenditures and revenues within the funds and departments as set forth in Exhibit A attached. All ordinances, resolutions, and policies in conflict herewith are hereby rescinded to the extent of the conflict only.
Thank you. Is there a motion now for that?
So moved.
And a
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask the roll be called.
Schneider.
Aye.
Carneal. Sneed. Trotter.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Passed 6-0.
All right, 2.6 is Resolution 16-23, which authorizes the city to participate in the pool's James L. Richardson Driver's Safety Matching Grant Program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion
Yes,
there?
Mayor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sneed.
In the information from the gas department, it had a reference to doing this because of numerous accidents. What is the definition of what is numerous? In what period of time?
I don't think it was, I don't think it's like numerous. We've just had probably 4 or 5 since last May. I mean, nothing major, no. No, we had one big one where it involved an electric bucket truck, but aside from that, they've just been fender benders for the most part.
Is this for every department, not just for gas?
Well, it's primarily for the gas department because they bought the equipment and so it was the audio visual equipment for the gas department, but the plan was to use some of it for all the departments. This is a reimbursement. The grant will reimburse the gas department for their equipment.
Do we have the equipment already?
Yes. They actually bought it earlier in the year and the grant will reimburse it.
Any other questions? Let's call the roll, please.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed. Carneal.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Pass 6-0.
2.7 is Resolution 16-24, which would change the name of a small portion of Wilkes Road lying between J. Porter Drive, which is a private drive, and Blackwood Drive, located on parcels 64, 67, and 69 of map 69. Who would like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Head.
Yes.
Carneal. Trotter.
Aye.
Snyder. Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
All right, we move now to the administrative part of the agenda. The first one is the monthly adjustment of retail electric rates. Mr. Gardner?
There's no change this month, Mayor.
No change. I don't recall one in a long time that was no change. We've been able to nudge you down occasionally, and you've gone up a few times, but that's all right. We're okay on that.
I'll make a
Motion?
Motion to accept that.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion before we vote? Call the roll, please.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sneed. Carneal. Pass 6-0.
Same thing now, adjustment of monthly gas rates is item 3.2. What you got, Mr. Riddle?
Purchase gas adjustment is up 2.06%.
2.06, slightly up.
1.3%.
We'll reluctantly get a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion on this? Call the roll, please.
Sneed.
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Snyder. Trotter.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
All right, 3.3 is a series of parade permit applications for United Way, for the Chamber's Christmas on the Square, etc. You've seen the list. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Carneal.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Pass 6-0.
3.4 is to discuss and possibly take action on the proposed offer from Mr. John Worsham to sell the Lions Trailer Park to the city in the amount of $60,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second.
No, wait a minute. No, take that back.
You don't want to second it?
No, because, is this a younger Worsham or the
I
older?
can't tell you that.
John, I would guess, would be the younger. I think he's Jerry's son. Does that, I don't.
Yeah, he's working for me. I'll have to abstain from that.
Okay,
And we
so
do
we
have
don't
some
have,
additional.
we don't have a second yet. Is there a second to this?
Second.
All right, any discussion now?
Mayor?
Sir?
We have some additional information as well, and this was brought to us for some about, we said we'd run it by the board, see if there's any interest. Grant, would you distribute, we've got some purchase information. We've got the tax value of the property, and we've got the last purchase, but it was the son, I think John, buying it from his dad. He purchased the property for, looks like the amount of $25,000.
There are 6 mobile homes on this site at present, is that correct?
There are 6 mobile homes, one of which has got to be removed, and there's 2 out sheds on the property. And, it would beautify the neighborhood. We might have some use for the property. One of the mobile homes right now sits on a sanitary sewer easement. Some of the others did, but they've been removed. It's either going to be drainage right-of-way or road right-of-way. It could be a small linear park. You put a sidewalk in there, maybe some playground equipment. Basically, it's going to improve the appearance of the neighborhood. He is still, I wanted to draw to your attention, he still owes taxes on the property for 2015. I think that's city and county at $703.90.
So he would have to pay that.
And as far as, there are no other liens on the property that we can tell. So this is just brought to your attention to see if you would be interested in doing that, or if you were, whether you just wanted to, pay that amount or negotiate another price.
Anybody want to make a statement regarding that?
I was curious, is this something that the planning commission wants or need? I mean,
Grant Green, our codes.
I mean, what I can read, it's not any really benefit to the city.
Well, Mr. Trotter, it has not been brought to the Planning Commission to review. We just received the offer here very recently. However, I think it is one of those things you probably want to look at some of the history on the property. It did, I think it sold from father to son in 2014 for $25,000. However, back in 2011, the sale price on the property was $62,500. And
How much again?
in 2014, it sold for 25, but that was from father to son, I believe. I think that's the thing. Yes, sir. That was $62,500 back in 2011. However, it had several other mobile homes on the property at that time that the codes department has worked to remove in that period of time. So that's been helped the property value, I think, in the process. However, the actual structures on the property was probably part of that sale price. So several of those have been removed since. I would think it would be something that the board could either take action on in terms of to agree to the price, or even possibly do a counter offer or something of that nature, or take no action on, obviously. So, but it could be used as potentially a park, as Mr. Nutting said, or a potential greenway project in the future to connect up past along Dogwood, back possibly up behind Indian Hills and up to the greenway section that is located going to Travis Price Park. So it's got a lot of potential. Obviously, it would be a running cost in terms of maintenance and mowing, but it's got a lot of potential, I think, for a park in that area.
I think at one time there were 32 mobile homes, so we're down to 6, and with one that has to be removed, so that's 5 and 2 out sheds.
Okay.
It can't be, as these mobile homes deteriorate and are removed, new ones can't come in, or they can't be replaced. Okay, and the property, once all these mobile homes are gone, what's the property good for this landowner?
There's really not a lot of potential for development on it. The setbacks on it are very, very limited, so he wouldn't have a lot of potential, I think, for doing anything else with the property.
All right, are there other questions that you have?
I just think we got
Comments?
I just think we got parks already that haven't been completed. We need to work on those first, like Martin Luther King.
All right, well, we have a motion on the floor. Is there anything else you want to say before we call the question? Oh, the actual motion is to approve the purchase of this at the stated price of $60,000. So if you favor this, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote no.
Snyder?
No.
Carneal?
No.
Sneed?
Abstain.
Trotter?
No.
Head?
No.
Hubbard?
No, I can't go with this.
Fails 5-0, 1 abstain.
Thank you. 3.5, discuss and possibly act to approve a temporary property evidence position for the police department. Paul?
Thank you, Mayor. This is something that I talked with David about at budget time. There were a few things that I thought had a little more higher priority at the time. However, it is something I would like to try on a temporary basis. We've got some positions that we're still trying to fill, and we will have some salary savings. This will be a part-time temporary position, and I'm recommending that we try this out for about 120 calendar days to evaluate it. It's something I may, if it works out, it may be something I consider to, run by the board in the next fiscal year's budget, but I'd like to just see how it works.
But it can be taken care of within the present budget.
That's correct.
All right, is there a motion that this be approved?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion now? Please call the roll.
Hubbard?
Aye.
Sneed?
Aye.
Carneal?
Aye.
Trotter?
Aye.
Snyder? Head?
Yes.
Passed 6-0.
3.6 is to discuss and possibly act to approve the acceptance of the police department's alcohol open container traffic cone storage and mobility grant. That's a whole lot of wording there, Chief.
I promise I did not name it.
All right, I'm glad. I would have wondered about you. The amount being $15,305.64. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I'm glad you're utilizing a young man that came up through the ranks, Captain Jason Head. He's been a true policeman.
All right. No questions? All right.
Head?
Yes.
Carneal? Trotter?
Aye.
Snyder? Hubbard?
Aye.
Sneed?
Aye.
Passed 6-0.
All right. 3.7 is to discuss and possibly act to approve a proposed curbside recycling pilot plan. Paul?
Well, thank you, Mayor. This is a rather expensive experiment, but I think it's something that we ought to seriously look at, because I think at some point, probably all cities in Tennessee, like they've had in other states, have had to do some sort of mandatory recycling at curbside. Right now, the way we're set up, we really don't have the means to do this. We don't have the best situation possible. But I think what we're trying to determine here is see what could we collect? What could we take out of the waste stream? And I think what we're trying to do is we'll go out here, we will select 300 customers here in the historic district because it's high density. We have got it worked where we can determine they'll be picked up twice a month on Wednesdays. We'll be able to measure how much has been taken out of the waste stream. It will not cost the residents anything, so they've got the motivation, if they want to and they're interested in recycling, to participate at no cost. Now, the money comes in, we're going to have to come up with the recycling bins, and there's two ways to go. You can purchase the recycling bins for $18,000, or you can lease them at $14,400, in which you will get, nothing back at the end. So I think what we'd like to look, if we do this, probably the purchase would be the best. They would still be new recycle bins, and they could be sold in gov deals, or we could sell them directly to people that are interested in recycling. And then the other thing would be $4,500 a month for the service through Green Village. Now, the problem here is that we still have some purchasing issues here. If we're interested in doing, first of all, we have to decide we're interested in doing this, and then we just need to go through a certain process to follow the purchasing rules. The county is going to participate by going 50-50 on everything. And they're driving it because they have lost landfill space. They can no longer dispose of residential garbage at the Montgomery County landfill, and now they're hauling it to Kentucky. So they're driving this. There really is a need and a purpose for this. But obviously, we're going to be, if we split the cost, let's just say it's $45,000 if we purchase the carts. You've got to have the cart purchase and then got the other services. It's going to amount more than $10,000 for each thing that we're doing. So we're pretty close to it anyway. So the county has a $25,000 sealed bid limit, and we have a $10,000 because we've got a private act charter. So whatever we do, it's going to have to be consistent with the city's charter and not the county's charter, because we're going to be paying half. So the first decision, are we interested in doing this on an experimental basis? We have enough money in the reserves to try this experiment for 6 months and try to generate some interest in recycling. And then, if you're interested in pursuing that, then we'll have to work out the details about the purchasing in one of two ways. We could do seal bid or just request for proposal. And what we're doing is purely experimental, so we probably aren't going to get too many takers other than Green Village Recycling to want to participate in this program, but we still have to go through the process.
All right, but what you're asking for tonight is just for permission to go forward with it to seek a request?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, if the board is interested in doing this, and then we can resolve the purchasing process later.
Or is there a motion to that effect?
So move to get it on the floor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Hubbard.
I mean, of course, I'm interested in recycling, but why couldn't we have a portion in each ward instead of just one particular ward? I mean, pardon?
The reason for the pilot program, the Public Works is actually going, this 300 houses that we're identified, we're actually going to measure how much waste we collect also. So we can't go from this end of the town, that end of the town, all over the town. They can, but we're trying to pick one section of the town where we can start here and stop here, take it to the landfill and know how much is being collected at that 300 homes. Then they're going to know how much comes out, and we can do some numbers on the pilot. That's the only reason. And it was trying to get a fairly good cross-section of the city, too. So,
I understand your argument, but I can't go along.
it's fine. But we can't do our part if we jump all over the town.
Okay. Clay, did you have another question?
Is there a single cart in similar size and appearance, but a different color as the ones with, are they divided to put plastic, glass, cart, it's just everything, cart, it's all in there, and then they take it somewhere and sort it?
There's no benefit to what they get out of it. In fact, the people who take the commingled material, they are actually giving it to them. So,
Did they ask to do this about a year ago? This has been for us.
no, not this, to my knowledge.
Springfield, they asked to do this about a year ago.
No, they wanted to be advertised, I believe.
Advertising for making people know that they were available if people wanted to recycle.
They've been here for a while, doing it just all over town.
So they're here now doing it sporadically, but it's by paid customers. So there's people paying for it. Now, if we do it over here for free, and the people over here they're having to pay for it, what are they gonna say about it?
Well, this is a pilot program just to see how it's going to be working.
So the people over here is paying, they're gonna say in 6 months, you know what they're gonna say in 6 months.
That's going to be, then you're going to have to decide if you can pay for it or not.
I like it.
Well, was there any data on what they're collecting now?
Well, Green Village, if they're willing to do, they're only harming their own customer base. If the reaction in the other places is that they're going to be angry because of a pilot program, well, they won't be doing Village with the Green Green Village Recycling won't be doing business with them. So, it's their, it's kind of their idea, and they want to try it.
I'd like to see more of the collection sites, like the bins that have different doors, like at the landfill, you drive up and you put your own stuff into it. We don't have, there's only one without the landfill, none in the city. Like maybe,
From what I hear from Mr. Sneed, from Mr. Hubbard, and others, there's still a lot of questions. Do you want to, we'll take a vote on it, if you want to vote it up or down, or you can defer it till we can get some questions answered. Now, what do you want to do? Right now, we have a motion and a second.
call for question.
Questions out there. If you favor this, vote aye. If you're opposed, no.
Trotter,
No.
Hubbard,
No.
Head,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Sneed,
No.
Carneal,
Aye.
tie.
Aye.
Tie.
It fails.
It's a tie, it fails. Okay. And I might add, our Alderman, Jeff Gregg, has had knee surgery, and that's the reason he's resting comfortably in the hospital, I think. So we'll wish him well, and that's the reason he's not here tonight, and that's the reason we've got a tie. Okay.
I'd like whoever brought this to us to ask these people about bringing in the larger collection sites.
It can be brought back.
There's still an opportunity, but that's not available, where we could provide them someplace to
Yeah.
put these containers that we don't have.
There's a lot of interest in town about this, and this is going to be something forced on us eventually. So, all right, now the next item says to discuss and possibly take action to approve change order 1 by Bomar. Where do we stand on that now?
We've already taken care of that.
I think we did, so we're one ahead. I'll put okay. Now we move to 3.9, discuss and possibly act to approve an emergency purchase of 2 single-phase regulators from Solomon Corporation in the amount of $14,300. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Carneal,
Aye.
Snyder,
Aye.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
pass 6-0.
All right, 310 is to discuss and possibly act to approve the request by Springfield Electric to award the bid for horizontal post-type insulators to Border States in the amount of $13,587.86. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Now discussion. All right, call the roll, please.
Snyder,
Aye.
Carneal,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Aye.
pass 6-0.
311, another request by Springfield Electric to award the bid for steel poles to Stewart Irby Company in the amount of $80,106. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please, Lisa.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
Carneal,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Snyder, Head,
Yes.
pass 6-0.
312, again from Springfield Electric. Robert, you're wearing us out tonight now. He's wanting a bid for a 15,000 underground cable to Gray Bar Electric in the amount of $14,972.60. And by the way, why wasn't all these things put on consent?
Well, there was some miscommunication.
Okay.
But there was one really with regard to the emergency purchase.
You
They
needed to
wanted
get
on
that one separately. I
just
understand that.
in the-
Okay.
In the hurrying up of the moment.
That's all right. We'll forgive you.
So move on that one? So
Do we have a
move.
motion?
No.
All right, motion, please. You
Motion,
can use
yes,
second.
Second.
Any discussion? We need to get him his underground cable now. Call the roll, please.
Head,
Yes.
Carneal,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Snyder,
Aye.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
pass 6-0.
All right, now I love this 313. Discuss and possibly take action to approve the purchase and application of a spray-on liner from Better Billy Bunker as a sole source provider in the amount of $1.31 per square foot. I haven't heard of that company before, but yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll explain. They have, this is a bunker system, bunker maintenance system that we have used in the past. and they are sole source, and we have used them. And we have used them on several bunkers around the golf course. I think we started at 18. I think we did 3 or 4 on 18. We did 1 on 11. We did 2 on 4 this past year. And what it does is they have a special treatment that you put your gravel in and your drainage, and then there's a sealant that kind of keeps the sand and the gravel separated, and it just makes the maintenance of the bunkers so much easier. And over time, you're really saving a lot of money maintenance-wise.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second now?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd rather see them move all the bunkers all together for my game, but I'll go along with it.
You're welcome to have your opinion, that's why you're here, Bob.
Me too.
Anything further? Call the roll, please.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Snyder.
Aye.
Sneed. Carnell.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
314, discuss and possibly act to approve the requested agreement with Gresham, Smith and Partners to perform an analysis of alternatives to the use of gaseous chlorine as a disinfectant at the water treatment plant. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, sir,
Lee
Mr.
from
Sneed.
Mr. Lee Masters. Would this not be something that you would already have in your databases as options? Why would we have to have an engineering firm tell us what other options we can treat water for?
They're probably in a better position to look at alternatives. I mean, we can go out and do a literature search, but they have more experience. Gresham Smith has done this in the past. They just got the experience that we don't.
Do you know of any other water plants that use an alternative other than chlorine?
Logan Todd uses
That's right.
lakes, yes.
That's right.
I'm sure there are others, I just don't know who they are. I do know Logan Todd
Is that
does.
where you're trying to go to out here, to something like what Low Tide is?
It doesn't really matter to me what Logan Todd does. I would like to see what our chlorine gas is a very hazardous substance. We had a chlorine leak a couple of weeks ago. It was very minor, but it kind of points out the hazard associated with chlorine gas. We had to have 2 people put on their self-contained breathing apparatuses, one of them to go in and try to find the leak, and the other to be outside in case he had to go in to retrieve the first person. So I'd really like to look and see what alternatives are out there.
$10,000.
I agree with you. I'd rather be safe than to have something to happen. And you know, you have a professional, people who has done this thousands of times, so I support your effort.
Other questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
Sneed.
Aye.
Carnell.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
All right. 315, to discuss and possibly take action to approve a Griggs and Maloney contract revision in the amount of $2,500 for engineering services for evaluation of the mechanical screen at the raw water intake pump station for the water treatment plant. Is there a motion there, please?
So moved.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion now? Please call the roll.
Carnell.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Pass 6-0.
Okay, we move now to 316, and this will be to discuss and possibly take action to approve an agreement with American Engineers Incorporated for survey work and easements related to water line relocation for the area around Highway 49 West and Highway 257, the intersection there of Fluellen Road and Mount Zion Road as well. By 49 Market's a better way to put it then. Is there a motion?
So moved. A second.
All right, any discussion? Please call the roll again, Lisa.
Snyder.
Aye.
Carnell.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
Okay, and finally, on 317, discuss and possibly act to approve a contract amendment with American Engineers Incorporated for property surveying for the site at Sulphur Sport Creek in the amount of $3,675, $3,675. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Roger, keep standing, but I want to do this other one. I'm going to go around you here. Let's have a motion on the consent agenda, please.
So moved, accept.
Second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Snyder.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
All right, we're ready for the monthly report on the process, or the progress, that is.
Contract 3A is basically, essentially done. They're working on punch list items, which means the work is finished, and now they're looking at videotapes, see if there's anything needs to be repaired, doing walkthrough inspections. Contract 3B and 4 are still underway. The 3B is close to being finished. They're working mainly out on Highway 49 East and some other places along town. So we're winding down the last three contracts really.
Okay. All right, any questions? All right, now we had one other item does this just need to be added to the agenda, Paul?
Yes, it does.
Explain that, please. It had to do with an agreement with Electrolux.
Okay, yes, last month, as you know, we're in pursuit of a state industrial access grant for Electrolux, and we approved a memorandum of understanding last month, and the board passed that. Ms. Barty passed it on to corporate at Electrolux. They have a few minor changes, and I'll ask Ms. Barty to run those by you.
First, let's get a motion on adding it to the agenda, is that right? Okay, is there a motion to add this to the agenda?
Motion to add to the agenda.
Is there a second to that? Any discussion on adding? Hearing none, please call the roll on adding this to the agenda.
Sneed.
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Snyder. Trotter.
Aye.
Pass 6-0.
All right, now, let's hear what Ms. Barty's going to explain.
I apologize for the lateness of this being presented to the board. I finally finalized some changes with Electrolux's council about 4 o'clock this afternoon. There were very minor and basic changes that we adopted. We clarified and defined terms within the agreement. Most specifically, city apportion costs became a defined term. And the reason being for that is, as you all know from your review of the grant, there are certain expenses associated with the relocation of this street that the state pays, and then there are certain expenses that for which the city is responsible. Our agreement with Electrolux is that the Electrolux will reimburse us for any costs that we have, with the exception of we have agreed as the city to move our own city-controlled utilities. Essentially, the Electrolux felt that they needed a clear definition of city apportioned costs, which we have accomplished. They had asked for a couple of changes, which we respectfully declined to make. But all in all, this is essentially the same document that you all approved last month.
Is there a motion then that this agreement be acted upon as it has been revised?
So moved.
Second. Any questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Carneal.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Pass 6-0.
All right. Paul, you have your
Few things. Thank you, Mayor. First thing I want to do is hand out the quarterly report to the board. And in that report, of course, I'm also give a detail on the progress of the Logan Todd Regional Water Commission plan and specifications for our water transmission line. And last week, TDEC did approve the plans and specifications for that. So right now, we're concentrating on getting the 180 easements and pieces of property that we're going to need for that. So Mayor, I think those are the two things I want to bring to the board's attention.
All right, just before we conclude, I wanted to just mention, we come here each month and we go through a lot of things to vote on, probably take about 30 votes each time. We've dealt with an item tonight that was lengthy involving the Bransford project, and we want to get that right. But I think, and I'm going to take about 5 minutes to do this, but I just want you to hear some progress as we look at our city and what the statistics tell us. That we look at these local sales tax that in 2008 brought us in about $4,638,000. In 2016, it's $5,634,000, an increase of almost $1 million, or 21.5%. We look at similar growth, almost as much with sales, with the state sales tax figures. We look at our population growth of 27% from 1995 to now. We were at 13,223 then. We're at 16,808. And in that length of time, between 1995 and 2009, the city removed over 200 unsafe structures. And since that time, 2010 to 2016, using the slum clearance law, we've taken down 250 more unsafe structures. The vast majority of these that have been removed are residential. Now, growth in the city in a whole lot of other ways. We've gone through the most expensive infrastructure improvements that we've ever been involved in, with all of the work that's been done in the last 2 to 3 years with our overhaul of our sewer system. But let me tell you what that gets us. Let me give you an example. And this is, once you get this, you'll see how important this was. While we are under the administrative order on consent, the city of Springfield gains 1 gallon of capacity for development of each 2 gallons of stormwater removed from our sanitary system. You get that? We get 1 gallon of credit for every 2 gallons that we keep of the stormwater from going into the sanitary system, because that gives us that much more capacity at the sewer plant. Doing that, you gain, if you remove 1 million gallons, you get 500,000 in return for that. In making this, in making all of these improvements and making sure that we've eliminated the biggest part of that problem, Contract 1A, and you can't remember where that was, but it's the Carr Creek watershed. We have gained enough capacity, new capacity there, if I'm reading this right, to service 1,800 homes. Think what that means for future development. Contract 1B, the Sulphur Fork watershed, we've saved enough already to take care of 1,988 homes. Now you see why we've had to spend we had to do it anyway. But look at what this gives us. Tremendous capacity for growth. We have, and I'm not going to read you every statistic that's here, but we're seeing a lot of improvements in home ownership. We're seeing the number of people below the poverty level declining, not as much as we'd like, but it's declined from 23.4% in 2010 to 20% now, so a drop of about 3%. We have seen a tremendous improvement in our crime rates. We have seen utility growth in the electric department And this is going back from that 20-year period of 1995 to 2015. We have gained from 6,100 customers to 8,100 customers, and I'm rounding these numbers off. Water has grown, the percentage there has grown tremendously. I'm reading that, okay, here's the county, the city water customers have grown from 5,049 to 7,034. And our county water users that we supply has grown from 3,500 to 5,300. So see the growth that we've had. Of course, we service a tremendous amount of this county as well, which is all good is when we can work together for growth. So look, when you hear things that are negative or things that people, it's real easy to talk about something that's bad. It's exciting sometimes, but you really need to be talking about the good things, the differences that we see. So there's been a lot of progress, and everybody sitting in this area has known in the years that you've served, these are some of the things we've worked on to get to this point. So you can give yourself a pat on the back sometime, because this is great, and it's great that our community is growing as it is, and the improvements that have been made. And Chief Thompson, I want to congratulate you for all that you have done with the police department, and been with us since February of what year? 2012. 2012. So you'll be with us 5 years this February. Okay. Job well done. Is there anything further? I said we'd get out. You know, we got a whole lot of work done in an hour. Think how many things we voted on after we got that other matter settled. James?
Just one comment to echo what you said. If the naysayers could understand what you just read, and they can see why we're still pushing, okay, to grow this community.
That's right.
Because people are looking at Springfield and people want to come here.
That's right. Amen, brother. We stand adjourned.
That's why we got to have